Are you wondering what's happening with Montgomery County real estate? Well, you've come to the right place, because today I'm going to go through some current statistics for what's happening in Montgomery County, Maryland for real estate for single-family houses. First, I'm going to go through an article that was written by Mark Fleming, the chief economist at First American, that talks about some interesting trends on the national scene in terms of the adjusting market. So let's dive right in. Okay, here's the article from Mark Fleming at First American Title. First American is one of the largest, or maybe the largest, title insurance company in America, and they have tons of data on housing. So I'll go through this article. I'll try and make it quick. So there has been a decline in demand because of rising interest rates, certainly. But 90% of the market is driven by existing homes, and a lot of existing homeowners are staying put. So that's keeping inventory tight. And there are two reasons that he cites. So we'll go down here. First is what he calls the golden handcuffs, which is so many people refinanced while rates were low that they really don't want to give up these sub 3% or just over 3%, whatever it was, numbers that they got, to trade that in for something that starts with a 5 or maybe more. The other thing that he cites is a demographic change that really was preceded the pandemic, which is that this generation of homeowners, the seniors, are tending to stay put much longer than their predecessors. And he cites a number from a Freddie Mac survey that said 1.6 million additional housing units would have been on the market by 2018 if this generation of seniors had acted like prior generations. So this, I thought, was an interesting number here as well, that pre-crash, the average time that people stayed in their homes was 5 years, and that as of May of 2022, that's more than doubled to almost 11 years. So now let's jump in and take a look at the Montgomery County housing market. First, we'll start off with the Market Action Index. This is a simple graphic barometer. I'll call it the speedometer for the housing market. And as you can see, this line right here at 30 is the dividing line between a buyer's market and a seller's market. So as of this past week, the Market Action Index was 79. It has moved down from last month's number of 87, but you can see that it's still solidly in seller's market territory. Now let's go over and take a quick look at a couple numbers in the real-time market profile. A couple things that I like to look at: clearly median sales price. You can see that it's kind of been bouncing along. It's gone up and down, but there hasn't been a dramatic change in the past couple months. Another number is median days on market. You can see back in March, it started out at 7, and it has trended up for sure, but only up to 14. So still a pretty tight market. Price decreases. Now, this is a number that a lot of people don't necessarily think about, but price decreases have moved up substantially. They've gone from 13% of the active listings up to 26%, so they've doubled. That shows you that people were maybe being a little optimistic with their asking price, and now they're having to adjust based on the current market. And then relisted properties have also moved up. As you can see, they've moved up from, there we go, less than 1% to over 2%. 2.01. And of course, inventory has moved up from 277 to 647. Now, remember, this is just for detached single-family houses in Montgomery County. So now we'll go down and we'll look at some longer-term trends. We'll start with inventory because that certainly has been the driver in the current market for the past few years. So we'll go back to July of 2019, and you can see that there were 1,600 single-family detached houses in Montgomery County, and that as of July 1st, we were down to 647. So granted, it has moved up from the low in March of 240, but when you compare it to pre-pandemic, it still is substantially lower. Okay, so now we'll take a look at median list price. And one of the things that I like to do with this chart is to divide the market up into quartiles, because different segments of the market react very differently at certain times. And so as you can see, if we go back to March, you can see that was sort of the top of the median list price in this cycle for upper bracket properties, and they've had a pretty substantial dip, as has the second quartile. Those have moved down as well. But if you look at the bottom two, actually the third quartile down has stayed almost exactly the same over that time period, and the lowest quarter has actually moved up in price. So that shows you that there's been some very different reactions to what's happened with interest rates and the sort of change in the tenor of the market over the past few months. Now let's take a quick look at median days on market, another indicator of what's happening with demand. So as you can see, starting back in February, in all the price quartiles, you can see that days on market have moved down. And so even in this time of rising interest rates and lots of talk of, changes in the market, demand still seems to have remained strong in all the areas, and days on market are very low. Maybe not all-time lows, but there's been this sort of inverse motion. Interest rates have gone up, days on market have gone down. So there you go. Lots of interesting signals from the market. There's a lot going on. I have started using this new data source because they update the data on a weekly basis, at least with charts and graphs. And the multiple list only does it once a month. And I think in today's market, with all that's going on, trying to get the most current data to present to you and to my clients is really important. So if you enjoyed this video, I hope you'll take a minute and tap this like button. Somewhere around here are cards to other videos that I've done if you want to check those out. And if you have any questions for me, my contact information is below. Hope you enjoyed it. Have a great day, and I'll see you on the next one.